All right, so we were just doing some interesting testing with Ian and an older driver, R5 TP, kind of a classic. And in that test, testing against a modern M3 driver, which is what you've been playing with for the most part this year.
It is, yeah. I've been playing that one pretty much exclusively all season.
Right. So in testing that, we kind of use it as the baseline of what a modern driver can achieve.
Yeah.
And obviously, with Ian's expertise, he's been playing around with some different configurations, different shafts. And in that test, you kind of found it was a little bit unstable in your current setting, a little bit low in spin.
I think the biggest thing, in the spin is low. And what I'm finding, Matty, is the little golf that I've played this year has obviously meant that the timing element, isn't always going to be with me.
Right.
So with such a low spin sort of configuration, I'm really not getting the best out of the driver.
Right.
When I'm playing, I'm not able to hit as many fairways as I probably should. And that my iron plays the best part of my game, so
Gotcha.
I'm not taking advantage of that by spinning it so low.
Yeah, so I think it's going to resonate with a lot of you that are maybe hitting at a distance that you're comfortable with. I mean, you're comfortable with the distance you're hitting it in, and it's not that you are, you don't want to give up yardage, but you would potentially say, I don't need that one that goes an extra 20 yards because it's low spin.
Absolutely.
You're willing to give back a few yards if you can find some more fairways.
Absolutely, I would.
So what we want to do is take what Ian's configured now, which is an M3 8.5. He's got the TPT shaft in there that you've been testing.
Yep.
So we want to find something for him that is, I guess, a lot more confidence inspiring at address, maybe even something with potentially a little bit more spin generation to it that's going to get you in the fairway more often.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that when I hit the odd one, for me, is someone who misses it on the strike on the toe side.
Okay.
And it, has a tendency to turn it over.
Right.
That kind of quick right to left there is the one that gets me in a bit of bother. So it kind of really crosses the fairway, and I just hate seeing the ball kind of dip out the air so soon.
And that, as a low spin head, is just going to kind of exacerbate that even more, isn't it? It's going to be much worse. So why don't we get you to hit a couple? We obviously saw a bunch in the last video, but let's see you hit a couple with
this one.
Get an idea of what the ball flight's looking like, and then you're going to self-diagnose and fit yourself in terms of something that's going to get you a bit more online, right?
Yeah, we definitely. We've been trying to play about with a couple of combos, so we kind of know roughly where we would like to go with this. So.
Well, it'd be interesting for everyone to watch, and the reason we're doing this, guys, is to give you an idea. If you're not hitting that many fairways, this is the kind of thing that we'll suggest you go through as a process.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see one. Sounded nice.
Yeah, decent. A little on the low side. Spin was probably fairly low, Matty.
Yeah, 1800. Yeah, it's as you say. I mean, that's a delivery-wise really neutral, isn't it? And then even with that neutral of a delivery, you kind of still had it ducking a little bit more left than you'd like.
The biggest thing with that is I've kind of neutralized the spin axis left with a marginal heel strike.
Right.
The spin is low, so it's kind of sitting there as a warning sign of you better deliver that square.
Because if that one's on the toe, you're done.
You're just going to hit that low quacker that we're just talking about there. So
that's a fairly good indicator. Not your worst miss, but that's sort of the direction that you're afraid to see the ball go. You don't want to see it hooking left.
Exactly.
And so this is partially data we got from the last video, because Ian's made a bunch of swings. Dispersion circle is obviously going to be wider than you want it. You were preferring to play a little bit of a fade at the moment.
I mean, for me, it's the player's fade, the push fade.
A little bit of
because I'm an inside player.
Yep.
Working at that a little bit to neutralise that. I wouldn't mind seeing the swing direction heading a little on the little more neutral. Let's call it. I wouldn't say left, because I'm still trying to kind of keep it fairly neutral. But yeah, I'd like to see that path down closer to 1 or 2 degrees.
And for you working on a fade, I would imagine if you double cross one a bit or your strike is a bit off, that driver's going to punish you big time. Yeah. That's going to be the one that pull hooks.
It definitely does. It definitely does for me, because looking at that delivery, you can see I hit up on it a ton. So I always end up in the lower lofts.
Right.
Because, well, generally that's, the way I control my
you
flight.
Want to bring it down a bit.
So, I want to be in something that doesn't punish me as much with that.
So, based on what we've looked at in the past, I'm assuming launch angle wise, you don't need it to change a whole lot.
No, it's okay, isn't it?
You're going to want 2,300 spin, something like that?
I've been really searching for that driver that goes 21, 22-ish,
So just low
23, somewhere in that
Gotcha.
region. Low twos, Matty, about 500 more.
And I don't think in terms of carry, you'll probably won't give up much in terms of carry.
It
will
really
you?
won't.
It'll
no.
be total, and total is so based on ground condition anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's get you into a little bit of a tweak. What is kind of your first step? Would you tweak what you've got now in terms of the hosel settings, or would you look immediately to something else?
You know, I've been thinking for a while of actually going down to something like either Rogue Sub-Zero or G400, even G400 Max. Tried G400 early in the year, LS Tech, didn't love it. I was hoping to like that one a little bit more, but no, I would say the G400. Love the head weight being a little bit heavier. Really like that. Obviously the forgiveness. I can play the 9 down at 8, so for me that eliminates a little bit of the right to left. I would probably start there.
Okay. Well, let's get you hitting a few with what you've kind of put together as your first instinct to try.
Okay.
So we've got a G400 Max.
Yep.
You're using 10C white shaft, which you've tested out a little bit in the
So
last.
that's a real favourite of mine, to be
12
honest.
months.
It's probably what I would consider my gamer from a feel perspective.
Right.
Yeah, I love 10C white. Played it for a long time. I play it in my fairway wood as well. Play 70TX in my fairway wood. So this is nice. 9 degrees, 2 degrees open in the face, 1 degree down in the loft.
Yep.
It's pretty darn close.
And going back to that shaft, I guess, is going to be a little more familiar to you in trying to hit the shape that you're used to hitting. You've obviously been working on your swing, and maybe you were getting away from, I guess, your original shot shape. And so a little bit stiffer of a even in feel, a bit stiffer of a profile, I guess, will help you with that shape.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Okay. All right, let me tag this up for you.
Okay.
So we're going with, this is obviously a drastic change.
Yeah, big change,
Head-wise
obviously in shape and stuff. Quite like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like already, I'm looking at the profile going.
Really?
Yeah, I like the shape. Kind of feels like I can miss one a little bit. And here's the big thing for me here. If I miss the odd one in the heel, which I can do from time to time, the good ones in the toe, the misses in the heel, like most good players, I don't care if this goes 15, 20 yards shorter, as long as it's in that fairway that we always talk about, 20 yards either side.
Yeah.
I really don't mind. I'm just looking for 5 out of 5 in the fairway.
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to lose sleep over the 20 yards you lost, but you will lose sleep over the water hazard.
It's the penalty you deserve for a miss. I really don't mind that. I just don't want the miss of being in the rough or a bunker and a hazard or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
Little higher flight immediately, isn't it?
It is. So obviously it has some draw shape to it, but it's certainly not really a violent curvature at all.
No, it was fine. Look at that spin.
Yeah, that's the number you were looking for, isn't it?
Number 22.
So obviously the launch angle is higher than you needed it, but it's again not going to, because the spin isn't that high, I would assume that is not going to be a big deal into the wind. Launch angle wise, it's more the spin rate that's going to cause your loss into the wind.
I would say for me that was probably my bad swing there.
Okay.
That was a little bit under it, didn't quite rotate, kind of got a little stuck.
Yeah.
So for me to see that fly 280, end up at 300, and
in a fairway?
A few, probably maybe was it 10, 12 yards offline at the most.
Not even that, yeah. Oh no, 11 exactly. So
11,
you're in the fairway.
right? So fine. Absolutely fine, and I'm kind of playing this obviously with what I've got right now. I'm working towards hitting it at a slight fade, but I know that that's a work in progress.
That sounded really good.
Pretty straight, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much no curve to that at all.
Mm-hmm. That floated a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, probably see your spin kick up. Yeah, up to 3,000. Now, it probably didn't feel that low on it wasn't. You're only 13 millimeters low on the face.
Mm-hmm.
So that driver is not the most forgiving to a low strike compared to an M3 or a Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
But as you say, if you miss hit it a bit and you're in the fairway and you lost 15 yards, you're not going to be upset.
You can't complain when that's what I just said.
No.
That I'll be okay with it to do.
Yeah. Well, so far you've hit 2 fairways, so nothing to complain about there.
That was the miss. That was the Healy one we spoke
Okay.
about.
Yeah. Pretty manageable, isn't it?
Manageable, short though.
Yep.
So that's where kind of, to be honest, for me, I was thinking G400 Max might not be, you know, in terms of if we're trying multiple drivers,
Yeah.
that might be where we go, okay, you've got M3, you've got G400 Max, then you've got Rogue, Sub-Zero in the middle of that.
Right.
Might be worth.
Why don't we get you to hit something slightly in between that then?
I think that's going to be the key for sure.
Yeah, we've
we've
seen kind of what the extreme is with this for sure, right?
Spins a bunch.
Yeah.
Even down to 8 degrees, which is interesting. That one was definitely low in the head as well. So these are going super straight.
They are really straight.
But
so let me ask you this then, because not that I'm here to fit you, but if I was going to ask you what you would do, I would expect that you would maybe try the regular Rogue, as it's a bit closer to that shape but better on a low strike, or is that going to be too closed in terms of what you like to look at?
probably a little of the wrong shape for what I love.
Shape. Okay.
I think so. I would say probably the two drivers that would make a lot of sense to me right now would be F8 Plus.
Okay.
As a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
Maybe the new TS3
okay.
by
Gotcha.
Titleist, and then in Rogue, obviously Sub-Zero.
Okay. We'll pick one that you want to try. Let's
Okay.
get a couple swings in.
Let's do that.
Okay, so Ian has self-fit himself, which is nice of you.
Yeah.
I would have done a poor job. We've gone to Rogue Sub-Zero.
Yep. Been keen to try that one for a while.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I haven't tried it all year.
Really?
Have not hit it once. I kind of have thought in my mind that that's a nice driver, has the benefits of the increased MOI, but it still has the low spin sort of characteristics. So
Yeah.
I've really thought it was good. The G400 Max was very straight, wasn't it?
It was insanely straight. I mean, you can't, as you said, you can't complain about the results of it.
Yeah.
But I think eventually you would have said, I kind of want at least 10 of those yards back.
And for me, I done exactly what every golfer is doing right now.
Yeah.
Every golfer to a man is going, I don't care about the distance, I just want to hit it straight.
I know.
And everyone say, I must get that in here all the time. Really, I don't know, I'm not looking to pick up yardage. As soon as you lose yardage, it's a problem.
For sure it is.
That was there's no way I'm gonna have the carry go from 285 to 265.
No.
It's just you're not going to enjoy that at all.
Well, especially when you, of all people, know it's possible to kind of get most of that back and retain that stability of the flight.
Definitely.
But no, you're right. No one's going to go, especially do a fitting, pay money, say, take that 20 yards off and I'm
take
fine
it
with
away. You're not losing. You're not losing that amount.
You've got to
of
find
yardage.
some balance between the two. 5 yards, I think you'd live with.
100% 5 yards in the fairway.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. So okay.
So let's see what I guess we're going to gain in terms of. I think based on your fits, you're going to not be surprised to see your low strike performance be way better.
Yeah.
And G400 Max is probably not the fastest driver off the bottom of the club.
Yeah, spun a lot.
It's got a lot of. I mean, getting over 3,000 for you is just a yardage kind of trap, isn't it?
And you can see, like today's an interesting day for me to do some testing. Probably not an ideal day for me to test because I haven't really hit balls in a while. I've had to take a little break from swinging. I've had a kind of bit of an injured neck, so I'm hitting up on it more today than normal, which is what's definitely lowered the strike.
Interesting.
So as the club is moving up, the strike is obviously suffering a little bit.
Right.
I'm probably normally 4 degrees up in it. Today's more like 6, 7.
You have been. True.
So we're seeing what I'm like when maybe I'm off a little bit, which is an interesting time to test.
It is interesting, yeah. Well, you got to. I mean, as you say, you've got to be fit for something that works when you're a little off, and it's got to work when you're playing well. All the same. Sounded really good.
Well, the cool thing about that was, Matty, I felt like I missed it low in the head.
Yep.
And we'll see what the result shows. That spin at 2,600 for a miss low in the head is great.
Wow. Your miss with the G400 was 3,200. Yeah, 2644. A little bit of loss in ball speed.
Yeah.
And again, we'll clarify, the graphic is not entirely accurate. 10 millimeters low, 11 millimeters toe is the diameter, or width of my pinky finger basically off center.
Right.
But I mean, a low strike is obviously going to be not as good, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about something that almost missed the club. All right, let's see another one. Better strike?
Toy.
Toey, okay. That's, I mean, barely going to cross the center line too. So this is the one where we'll see if it's stable relative to your original setup. So 18, so it's not, I mean, it's your...
I would completely expect that to happen there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think your center hits with M3 were more like 1800, weren't they?
100%.
Going back to your average, if you're mishitting and it's not dipping below 1800, it's actually quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, that to me, honestly, that was exactly what I want a miss to look like.
4.5 yards left.
Yeah.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, better accuracy, but with still got the distance.
All right.
Slightly better strike, Matty, but
Yeah.
again, not perfect.
It's consistently, you know, the G400 Max was topping out, you know, 275 or so in the Air 280. These are definitely flying consistently further. A little low again, but not that much.
Yep.
But your spin protection is there, isn't it?
It's really good, isn't it? That
Yeah.
window is much more manageable.
2500 is fine too.
Yeah.
And your ball speed still pretty good, 162 out of that.
Yeah. Okay.
See one more good one.
That's the
like
one
that.
I kind of described to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Oh,
Try and get that one out there that's got a little bit of fade to it.
that's nice. Really nice. Yeah, caught it a little bit higher on the head, but still, yeah, just under 2000, so not unstable as you say.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's okay.
Lots of launch and good spin.
Everything's kind of in good order there, and it just for me, if I can just ever so slightly fade it,
Yeah, it keeps you kind of in control.
That's
doesn't
where I
it?
feel like I've got control of the flight when I can sort of do that.
Well, let's look at how these are shaping up.
Okay.
So based on the width of that circle, you
Yeah.
kind of retained the same, if not slightly better, dispersion than G400 Max. We'll call them comparable.
Mm-hmm.
But you basically picked up, you know, about all the distance you initially had with M3, didn't you? We kind of called it. We said your carry would sort of be about the same, and
It's
it
almost
basically
like we
is.
know what we're doing.
It's almost like someone knows what. It's not me, but someone knows what they're doing. That's actually really cool to see, isn't it? 'Cause
Well,
you've half the dispersion.
That was
size.
honestly, that's for me the big gain here.
Yeah, that's
to
crazy.
to not lose the distance, to basically be at 285 carry, very similar, retain the ball speed, obviously have a little more average stable launch, so taking into consideration the low spinners, the high spinners, we wanted to stay at that 2200 range. It's exactly what we said.
It is exactly what you said.
You know, it's exactly what we want, so I can't argue with any of that, to be honest.
No. I mean, it's funny to look at it and see only 4 yards of total difference. I think, no doubt, your M3, when you really mashed one, probably would be your longest drives.
Yeah.
But you didn't hit a single one, obviously not with G400, but you didn't hit a single one with that Sub-Zero that did that kind of duck left.
Didn't have
The
that
way you had a bunch of
nosedive
those.
flight,
Not a
the one that
single
we
one.
talked about that we didn't like.
Yeah. Your furthest left you were was maybe 11 yards, just about that. I mean, if this is an average fairway, that's actually a narrow fairway.
Yeah.
You were pretty much hitting every single one in play.
For me, with obviously, once I can get back into now, you know, a little bit of super speed stuff, a little bit of swing stuff with Larry, get that speed, start building that back up again. 115, 116 today was a little sluggish at 110, 111.
Yeah.
That type of benefit in terms of the accuracy is really going to pay dividends.
Absolutely.
You know, there's nothing worse than gaining speed and having an unstable ball flight. You know, we obviously know the margins
your flight worse, wouldn't it?
that get smaller. So for me, this is quite exciting to try something that is really stable, as well as long. It's literally as long.
It is as long, and that's kind of what we alluded to. It's not. Yes, I think there are situations where you could trade it off, and maybe someone with more of an extreme, you know, delivery one way or another might have to sacrifice more yards than you have with a few yards.
Yeah.
But I don't think that too many people are going through enough of a process. They're not knowing enough about the DNA of each of those heads, where you almost sort of went extreme to find out what you could do in terms of dispersion,
Yeah.
and then sort of dial back that spin a bit to get a bit of that yardage back.
Definitely.
That's the process, and this is the process you must go through with a ton of people.
This
Same
is
kind
it.
of thing.
This is the process. You have an idea where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, G400 Max, too much on the extreme. Even when you turn, this is 1 degree more loft than the G400 Max.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm playing this dead on 9 because I didn't really, I know the low spin tendencies of Sub-Zero. I didn't want to bring it all the way down in loft, so for me to retain some of that spin, I wanted to play at 9.
And that kept your launch. It actually gave you more launch
A
angle.
little bit more launch.
That got you up and gave you more yardage, probably from the launch conditions.
Yeah, and you know, with this one, that's very comfortable for me to flight that down. Based on how low that spin is, yeah, I can bring that
True.
flight down 3 degrees and kind of really flight that quite flat, about 75, 80 feet. Be fine. You know,
When
I
you're
would be able
back
to
at,
do that.
in the homeland, if you need to hit it a little
absolutely.
lower, right?
Chase it in the links.
Well, this is good. I mean, it's a little bit too bad that you found a really good new driver option when the year is essentially over for us here in Canada. I shouldn't say that. We got a couple good days of weather coming up, but the long-range forecast looks pretty poor.
It's pretty bad.
But it's nice that you're going to do some winter work with Larry and work on your swing. You're
Yeah.
going to do your super speed. Now you've got a nice little track of where you want to progress. I mean, you've played a lot of golf with this. Kind of seen some patterns in terms of where the ball was going, and you've arrived at something that's, not to use a cliche, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it really is. It is, and obviously we're going to play a little golf down south when you and I are down at Sessions.
Yep, just a few weeks away.
A few weeks away. We're excited about it. I'm really pleased that it's sold out, and we're
basically full, save for one. But by the time this video comes out, we might not have that spot.
We probably will.
We're actually really excited to have such a good group of people that were not all of them from the area, so we're getting some travelers, which is great.
A few flying in, which is a huge compliment. Just remarkable, but.
Looking forward to that.
These things, yeah, they keep amazing us, so it's good.
It's going to be awesome. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, no, this was good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. You know, I'm going to do a little further testing with some weighting and different stuff. The TPT continues to feel great in there for me.
Yeah, that was good for you.
Yeah,
a little test with the Tensei, but I think it seemed like you came back to the TPT and swung a little bit more confidently.
Well, the results I've seen with TPT are that it really stabilizes the club face on misses.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've
That's
seen some misses that go very straight with TPT. I don't know if
I can vouch for that.
If you've seen that through
100%.
through the summer, so feel like that in the player's hands that has the odd miss, and I barely hit one in the middle of the face there.
It's all relative, but yes.
Yeah, and
you're in the middle section of the face, certainly, right?
Fairly close.
Yeah, but that's the reality of it. I mean, you're a scratch handicap player, and it's not like every ball is in the center of this X.
That's right.
And so if you want to get a little bit more out of it, there's a lot of people asking why a shaft like that is so expensive and why do you guys bother with it? And that's not a bad reason to kind of take a look at it.
Yeah, when we can talk about all the fancy terms and buzzwords around it, radial consistency and all that sort of stuff, the actual value to you guys is the fact that you don't have to hit it perfect and it flies really good. Yeah. The launch conditions are really consistent, and that's exactly what I found with it. And
it ties in well to this model of driver, which building from the Epic, the whole point of it was to make it more forgiving, wasn't it?
Epic was a monster. It was what I would call a launch monitor monster. It was super long, a bit like M3 there. That's a launch monitor monster. Now, we in further testing, we may have split the weights back on M3. And people might ask why we didn't do that. I was curious to try Rogue.
I was just going to say, if
you
guys work here and you have a drawer full, you try sticking with the same driver.
Yeah.
But it's good though, because you fit people for these all the time. It's nice to give them your experience.
That's right.
I was working on this. Maybe you get a player with a similar swing, and you can build on that personal experience.
Very cool. Excellent, guys. Appreciate you joining us for this one. Nice to be on the other side of the camera hitting a few balls. It's always good fun, and especially when you feel like you've gained a little something. I'm pretty excited about that.
I think you gained more than a little something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we kind of called it that was what we hoped it might do. And then upon testing, we've gained what we wanted. So it's kind of how the fit goes when we see our customers and we see their delivery patterns. We kind of go, okay, if we get you here, that's what good performance is going to look like, and that's what we've managed to achieve by trying the Rogue. So really excited about it. It's good.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
Not that happy. Obviously, Orlando coming up. It's going to. Might need to get some on-course action.
We're going to get some on-course action. You might not be as far back in the fairway as you might have been at the start of that video.
I know. And in the fairway, that's the key.
We'll meet you in the fairway, exactly.
All right, guys, appreciate you watching the video. Leave your comments. Certainly, if you've found that there's some testing that you've done, you know, that found a driver that was maybe in the extreme one end, extreme the other, and you found the middle ground, love to hear what that was for you guys. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.